Hello there, Toon Army! What an absolutely brilliant day to be talking about our magnificent Newcastle United, the best team in the world. I've got some absolutely crackling transfer news to discuss with you today that's got me proper excited about what could be coming to St. James Park this summer. Here are two burning questions for you lovely lot. Do you think we should take a punt on Jadon Sancho if we can get him on loan, considering his proven Premier League quality and the fact that Chelsea couldn't even agree personal terms with him? And how would you feel about finally getting our hands on João Pedro after that heartbreaking near miss back in 2022? Is $70 million too steep for a player who clearly wants to join our project? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm dying to hear what the Toon Army thinks. Right then, let's dive straight into this Jadon Sancho business, because this could be absolutely massive for us. The lad's situation at Manchester United has taken quite the turn, hasn't it? Chelsea have basically said, thanks but no thanks, to their $25 million option to sign him permanently, even after he helped them win the UEFA Conference League this season. That tells you everything you need to know about where his head's at regarding personal terms, and probably wages too. Now here's where it gets interesting for us Magpies. According to The Sun, we're right in the thick of it alongside Tottenham and Aston Villa, all keeping a close eye on what happens with Sancho at Old Trafford. The word is that Ruben Amorim has absolutely no plans to bring the 25-year-old into his pre-season plans, which basically means Sancho's as good as gone from United this summer. Let's be honest about what we're dealing with here. This is a player who was worth $73 million when United signed him from Borussia Dortmund back in 2021. We're talking about someone who had the best years of his career in Germany and has proven he can cut it at the highest level. The fact that he's on $300,000 a week at United might sound astronomical, but if we can get him on loan with United subsidizing those wages, suddenly this becomes a very different conversation. What I love about this potential deal is the timing. We've been crying out for more creativity and pace in the final third, and Sancho brings both in abundance. Think about it. We've got Alexander Isak banging in goals for fun, but imagine having someone like Sancho creating chances for him from out wide or even playing as a number 10 in certain games. The versatility alone makes this worth pursuing. The big question is whether we go for a loan or push for a permanent deal. Villa apparently want a loan, but United are looking for a permanent sale. Here's my thinking. If we can negotiate a loan with an option to buy, that could be perfect for everyone involved. We get to see how Sancho fits into Eddie Howe's system. He gets regular football to rebuild his confidence, and if it works out brilliantly, we've got first dibs on making it permanent. What's particularly encouraging is that Borussia Dortmund seem to have moved on from any thoughts of bringing him back. Sebastian Kehl's comments about having other priorities basically slam that door shut, which means the Premier League is where Sancho's future lies. From a tactical perspective, Sancho would give Eddie Howe so many options. We could play him on either flank, use him as an attacking midfielder, or even as a false nine in certain situations. His ability to drift inside and create overloads in central areas would be perfect for how we like to play, especially when we're trying to break down stubborn defenses at St. James Park. The competition from Spurs and Villa shouldn't worry us too much either. We've got European football to offer, a fantastic stadium atmosphere, and a project that's clearly moving in the right direction. Plus, Eddie Howe has shown he can get the best out of players who might have lost their way a bit. Just look at what he's done with so many of our current squad. Now this is where things get really exciting, because the João Pedro story feels like it's got all the makings of a proper Newcastle United fairy tale. We were so close to getting our hands on this absolute gem back in 2022 when he was at Watford, and it still stings thinking about how that deal collapsed. But sometimes in football, things happen for a reason, and maybe we're meant to get Pedro now, when he's an even better player and we're an even better team. The fact that he personally wants to make the move to St. James's Park is music to my ears. According to The Telegraph, we've received proper encouragement that Pedro is genuinely keen to swap the MX Stadium for our magnificent stadium. That's massive, because when a player really wants to join your project, half the battle is already won. Remember how important it was that Bruno Guimaraes wanted to come here. Pedro seems to have that same hunger to be part of what we're building. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, that $70 million price tag. I know some of you will be thinking, that's absolutely mental money, and I get it. But let's put this into perspective. Pedro is only 23 years old. He's proven himself in the Premier League with Brighton. And he's got that Brazilian flair that would absolutely light up St. James's Park. When you consider what other clubs are paying for similar quality players, $70 million might actually be fair value in today's market. What I absolutely love about this potential signing is Pedro's versatility. We've been crying out for more options in attack, especially someone who can play alongside Alexander Isak, rather than just behind him. The news that Pedro would be willing to play on the right side of attack is absolutely crucial here. We ended our pursuit of Brian Mbeumo because he was too expensive, but Pedro could give us that right wing option, while also being able to play centrally when needed. Think about the tactical flexibility this would give Eddie Howe. We could line up with Isak through the middle, and Pedro drifting in from the right, creating all sorts of problems for opposing defenders. Pedro's got that Brazilian technical ability to beat players one-on-one, but he's also developed that Premier League physicality and work rate during his time at Brighton. That's exactly the kind of player who thrives in our system. The timing of this feels perfect too. We failed to get Pedro in 2022 when we were still establishing ourselves back in the Premier League, but now we're a completely different proposition. We've got European football. We've got one of the best strikers in the world in Isak, and we've got a squad that's genuinely competing at the highest level. Pedro would be joining a team on the up, rather than taking a punt on a newly promoted side. What's particularly encouraging is that Pedro's people have been in talks with us, and they've made it clear he's ready to leave Brighton. That suggests this isn't just media speculation. There's genuine substance to this interest from both sides. The fact that Graham Bailey is reporting that Pedro is specifically willing to adapt his position for us shows the kind of commitment and flexibility we need from our signings. Also think Pedro would be the perfect signing to complement what we already have. We don't need him to be the main man. That's Isak's role. We need someone who can create chances, score goals, and give us different tactical options. Pedro ticks all those boxes, and then some. His pace and directness would be perfect for those moments when we need to hit teams on the counter-attack, while his technical ability would help us break down teams that sit deep against us. The only real concern is whether we can get Brighton to lower their asking price. $70 million is a lot of money, even for us, and we've got to be smart about our spending with financial fair play always lurking in the background. But if we can structure the deal properly, maybe with add-ons based on performance and appearances, it could work for everyone involved. What gives me real confidence is that Pedro clearly sees St. James's Park as the right next step in his career. When players have that genuine desire to join the club, they usually find a way to make it happen. And with our track record of developing players and giving them the platform to shine on the biggest stage, Pedro knows he'd be joining something special. Well, that's all from St. James's Park for today. Lads and lasses, both of these potential signings have got me absolutely buzzing about what this summer transfer window might bring. Whether it's Sancho's creativity and Premier League experience, or Pedro's pace and versatility, either player would make us even stronger as we continue building towards something truly special. Keep supporting the best team in the world, and I'll be back with more updates soon. Away the lads!